All right, polynomial division. Now, this is going to work like regular long division, at least a little bit. I know that's probably going back quite a ways, but we'll try to remember how that works. So we got 5p cubed plus 28p squared minus 17p plus 2 divided by 5p minus 2. Now, when you look at this, just like with the old regular long division of numbers, you got to see where the first part of your answer is going to fit. Now, if you take a look, you're dividing by a binomial. I can't put it over 5p cubed because that's just one term. In order to fit a binomial in, I'll have to go over 2 spaces so that my first answer will be above that 28p squared. Then you ask yourself, what do you have to multiply this leading term of your divisor by to make it match the leading term of what you're dividing into? Well, you multiply 5 by 1 to get 5. We're dividing by p to the first. I got to make that match p to the third. If I have 1 power and I need to bump it up to 3, I will need 2 more powers. So p squared. So that's 1p squared I'm going to multiply by to make those 2 terms I underlined in red match. Now, I don't need the 1. All I really need is the p squared. So p squared, now just like in regular long division, whatever you write down up there as your first part of your answer, you multiply by. However, you're dividing by a binomial. So you have to remember to distribute to the 5p minus 2. Now, I'm not going to draw these arrows every time. I'm just illustrating this time what I'm talking about. Make sure you multiply what you write up top by both of those terms. So 5p cubed minus 2p squared. Now, one other thing before we go on, if you look, everything's lined up. I answered p squared above p squared, and then I wrote p squared below that. All of your p squareds, all of your p cubes, all of your p's or x's or whatever in plain numbers will all be lined up. Now also, just like the old long division with numbers, after you draw that line, you subtract. You got to be careful. 5 minus 5 cancels. 28 minus negative 2. You're subtracting that whole binomial. So it's minus, this minus negative 2. 28 minus negative 2 is 28 plus 2, or 30. Bring down the minus 17p. Now again, you have to multiply your leading 5p in the divisor by something to make it match the new leading 30p squared. You make the match so they'll cancel out. That's how you make progress from left to right. Well, I multiply 5 by 6 to get 30. I have p to the first. I need to bump it up to p squared. So multiply by p. We got 6. you see all the p's are lined up vertically. So 6 times 5, 30p squared. Don't forget to distribute. This 6p times the minus 2 out front over here, minus 12. And then again, there is a double negative there. The 30s cancel just like we want. But then you have negative 17, double negative, so plus 12. And that's minus 5. Bring down the plus 2. Now again, you ask yourself, how do I make that blue 5p match the new leading term, which is negative 5p? I don't need to multiply by any more powers of the variable or anything. All I got to do, change positive 5 to negative 5, is multiply by negative 1. Don't forget to distribute. So negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. Now this whole n matches. Subtract something from itself, 0 remainder. Just like it says. At first, there won't be a remainder on these. Just to make sure we can all figure out how this works first. Now also just keep in mind the answer isn't that 0. That would be the remainder if there is one. It's that right there. That's the answer. All right, well, let's try number 2. Now again, I want to match 4n to 4n cubed. I don't have to multiply 4 by anything, but I do need n squared. Now, just like before, I'm dividing by 2 terms, so my first answer goes in 2 terms. And you'll see, hey, this will line up. N squared over 11n squared. All those will be in a vertical alignment. Distribute 4n cubed minus 3n squared. Now be careful again. That is negative 11 minus negative 3. So that's negative 11 plus 3. Negative 8. Bring down your minus 2n. Now I have to make 4n match negative 8n squared. So I'll multiply that by minus 2n. Don't forget to distribute. So negative 2 times negative 3, positive 6. Put that in. And again, just be careful. You're subtracting that whole bottom binomial. So it's negative 2 minus positive 6. So that's just negative 2 minus 6 more. So negative 8. Bring down 6. To finish this off, I have to multiply 4 by negative 2 to make it match negative 8. And again, we have our plain old negative 2 with no variable over that 6 with no variable. All your constant terms are lined up. Double negative plus 6. So again, you're subtracting the whole thing from itself. Number 3. And again, remember, you want to match this 4 to that 20. So to multiply, I'm going to change 4 into 20 by multiplying. It's multiplied by 5. You have x to the first. You need x to the third. So you need 2 more powers. So we're going to multiply by 5x squared. Just like before, that'll go above the 29 so that it will be lined up. So 20x cubed. Don't forget to distribute. Now, like I said, don't draw that arrow. I'm just illustrating it for you. Minus 25x squared. Subtraction, so 20s cancel. But minus negative 25 is plus 25. Negative 29 plus 25 is negative 4. Bring down that negative 19. We got to make the red 4x match the blue negative 4x squared. So I got to multiply by negative 1. And I need another power of x. So minus 1x, or just minus x, same thing. And again, like I said each time, now if you look, all your x to the first powers are lined up vertically. And just this purple mark was just for illustrative purposes. That's not a negative sign or anything. So negative 4x squared, double negative, plus 5x. 4's cancel out, and just be careful of those signs. Again, negative 19 minus positive 5. Negative 19 minus 5 more, negative 20. Bring down that 30. What do we multiply 4 by to get negative 24? Negative 6. Negative 6 times negative 5 is positive 30. And just like I said, at first, these won't have a remainder.